Hi guys, Jani here from Tarot Reading London with my March 2021 update. And things are looking a lot more positive. We had a really nice reading last month that really asked us to look at the opportunities that this situation was giving us. And it appeared to be telling us that actually things are going to be moving in a much more positive direction, and that we should be really aware of the opportunities that this was presenting to us. And I think there's a follow-on from that in this reading as well. So there appears to be some sort of green shoots of optimism coming through here. So I asked what the message was for us this coming month, and I got quite a surprising card. I got the 9 of Pentacles, which is a card of financial gain. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I think there will be more money pumped into the system this month. And it does look like that will actually make a difference. It's all about improving people's lifestyle. It's all about a feeling of more abundance, a feeling of being more independent in some way. And I think a big message of this card is to ask us to log in to what we can be grateful for. Because while there is no doubt there is a lot of struggle, and there are a lot of people who are having difficulties, for, I think, if we're honest, most of us, there is a baseline through which we won't fall. And I think that we are all in some way taken care of here, and it's asking us to really acknowledge where in our lives we have abundance, where in our lives we have that feeling of richness, which I think ultimately we do. It's a very optimistic and positive card, and there is a feeling of us creating our lifestyle, us creating our environment. So a feeling of wealth coming into the system, a feeling of wealth being injected into things to help us create a more abundant environment, so which will be for the betterment of everybody. Now, hopefully that is the case, and I think that gives us cause to be to feel quite optimistic about what's coming. So I asked what our experience would be, what would be the overarching energy of the next month, and I got the 6 of Swords. So while we're being asked to really sort of pay homage to the fact that I think things are looking a lot more optimistic, there isn't a lot of joy in the 6 of Swords, but it does tell us that we're in transition. It tells us that we are on a journey to somewhere better. Now, the card demonstrates this. If we look at the card, we'll see a woman and a child sitting in a boat with 6 swords around them, and it is quite plain from the picture that the journey is not a joyful one, and that they are making the journey by necessity, not by choice. So I think that holds sway for all of us. None of us have chosen this situation. None of us have chosen to move forward in the way that we are doing, but nevertheless, we find ourselves in the situation we are. But the good news here is that at least it's a process that is happening, and we are moving forward. So that's great. One of the big messages of the 6 of Swords is that there's no going back. So this is a journey that must be taken. That's why it's called transition. We are in transition from one stage to the next stage. So we're sort of in the middle ground at the moment, but we can never go back. And that's something that we all have to accept. So I asked, okay, well, that's fine, but where are we moving to? What should we know about this transition? And I got the 3 of Wands, which again is a lot more optimistic. This is all about growth and expansion. So this asks us to look beyond where we are now, to expand our vision and look at the bigger picture. Now, expansion and the Three of Wands can mean something as simple as looking overseas. It can be, you know, planning holidays. It can be planning to go beyond where we are now to somewhere at the moment which is slightly beyond our vision. And it's always a card of growth and opportunity. And I think that's the point here. It's asking us to look towards growth and opportunity and to look at the bigger picture. The Nine of Pentacles tells us that we have to create the environment in which we're living. We have to create our abundance, create our lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle is it that we will be creating? The Three of Wands asks us to expand our vision from outside our own agenda and look at the bigger picture here. So I asked, how should we be guided in that? And we've got the King of Cups, which is we should be guided by compassion. We should be guided by kindness and by understanding. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to collapse into an emotional heap. It means that what we have to do again is take a bit of a top line. It's sort of like a management situation. So this is all about managing the situation with compassion and with love and understanding. So the last card I took was a request for an additional message, and I asked what else do they want us to know about the situation this month. And so here we are with a big major card, the card of death. Never welcome in a tarot reading, always a bit of a moment, but of course everybody who's been around tarot for any length of time knows that the death card doesn't mean death. Although it has to be said, there is a flavour of that can't be denied in the situation. We all have to face the death figures, and it would be crass of me to ignore that as far as this reading is concerned. However, I think what this is telling us is that this is a time of irrevocable change. The Six of Swords tells us we can't go back. The Six of Swords tells us we have to move forward. We are in transition. We're in transition to a future that we must now create, which is really positive. But death tells us that we're creating from a position of sadness. And it's not a change that we wanted. Death is enforced change. And in that change, we've had to let go of things that we did not want to let go of. Whether that might be loved ones, or whether that might be a life path, whatever that might be, whether that might be a career, this change is not welcome. But nevertheless, it is almost like a purification. So, and this time is indeed a time of purification. While we try and purify our world of the virus, we try and purify ourselves of the virus. This is a time of irrevocable change and something that we can't escape. But tarot tells us that that process will ultimately be positive. It will ultimately be to our betterment. And the Nine of Pentacles that was at the start of this reading tells us that through that process of purification, we can create a better lifestyle for ourselves. We can make our lives more abundant in a better and more sustainable way. Three of Wands tells us to expand our vision, look at the bigger picture. And the King of Cups tells us to do it with love and compassion. So I think quite a nice positive reading, realistic, I think, for March, but nevertheless, it does show us all moving in the right direction. The energy is starting to be renewed and there is growth there. So hopefully things will continue in that vein and we will be able to move forward into April with an even more positive message. So I hope you've enjoyed this update. I will see you next month. As always, I'm always here for a reading if you would like one, if you think it would help. In the meantime, I'm going to say goodbye for now and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Jenny from Tarot Reading London signing off. Bye-bye.